I really missed being able to meet with you guys last night, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity to expand on what we've been talking about on Wednesday nights, which is the series called You're Invited. And it's all about the way that we worship God and how He wants us to worship Him all day, every day, in every way possible. And so we talked about what it means to worship God through prayer, and we talked about what it means to worship God just through the way that we live our lives. And we talked about what it means to worship God through hard times, which is kind of what we're living in right now. It's kind of this weird, we're back at home and not in school. We don't really know what the future holds right now, and that's kind of scary, but God still wants us to worship Him and still be in a relationship with Him. And so in our story tonight, we're going to learn a little bit more about that. And so in Luke chapter 19, it starts in verse 37. If you guys want to press pause right now, read that chapter as a family, and then come back and I'll expand on it in a minute. So in this crazy story, Jesus is on His way to Jerusalem to partake in the Passover, and He's got some Pharisees that are following Him. And along the way, on this long journey, He goes down this road, and this group of people start to form over time, and it gets bigger and bigger, and they all start praising Jesus and shouting out to Jesus. And the Pharisees are kind of getting a little bit annoyed with these people who are worshiping Jesus, and they're like, can you please make them stop? They could have been really loud, they could have been getting in their way. We don't really know why the Pharisees wanted them to stop, but we do know they said, Jesus, make them stop. And so Jesus turns to the Pharisees, and instead of making the crowd stop and go home, He says, if I make them silent, the rocks will still cry out to me. And so what could Jesus have possibly meant by the rocks will still cry out to me? I have a little illustration for you guys. You guys know what a glass of water is, right? Do you think I can make this glass of water sing? You know, probably if I just say sing, it's probably not going to start singing at me, right? But if I do a little bit of a trick, you guys ever seen this? I can kind of make it make some noise, right? And it starts to kind of sing a little bit, but I don't think that's what Jesus meant by making the rocks cry out. I think Jesus meant that everything that He created worships Him because it reflects who He is. Having rocks actually start singing out to Him is kind of crazy. That could have been what He meant. We don't really know, but I think ultimately Jesus is saying everything that He created, including us, worships Him whether it wants to or not, because it reflects who He is. And so as we go about our week, I want you to think about ways that you can worship God out loud, because God always wants us to worship Him through any season at all times. And so as a family, sit down, maybe even get some glasses and try to make your favorite worship song. That would be so cool. I would love to see your videos of trying to make music with these. But ultimately, I want you to worship God as a family, sing out your favorite songs, dance around the house, get a little bit crazy because you're locked in anyways, and do some art or play some games, and whatever you're doing, just worship God with it. And spend time in the Word together, because that's what God wants from you this week. And so as you do that, I'm going to go get ready for next week's lesson. See you later.